is 9 o'clock and so many people have signed in. So I think in very, dare I say it, un-Indian-like fashion, we're going to start on time and get going. I would like to welcome everyone to Women's Education Project's 6th annual forum. And I really want to thank, it's so wonderful to see all of your faces on these Zoom calls. So many of you have been looking at all of your names, and so many of you have been part of WEP for such a long time. And I just want to thank you for all of your participation and support. And I would like to kick this off with a welcome to the WEP ARTI students. We have a partnership in Kadapa, Andhra Pradesh, with the ARTI Home, and the girls of the ARTI Home, the young women of ARTI Home, will be presenting this morning. So I would like for them to take it away, if you can. Sunil, can they?
Yeah. Kabiran, let us start. We'll start with the prayer and light the candle. Light the lamps.
I am Kabir. I am in the ARTI home, in the hall where the girls are sitting. We will start the program by a small prayer. I request now Somika to come and recite a small prayer for us. Yes, Somika.
Let us start the prayer. I would like to share a few words about Om. Pronouncing Om, Om is the first universal sound. When we pronounce Om, it is a combination of 3 syllables, that is A, U and Ma. When we pronounce Om, as we say A, the lower portions of the body up to stomach is activated. When we say U, the chest gets activated. When we say with Ma, the face and the mind gets activated. When we pronounce O, it ensures good intake of oxygen, which requires for our body and mind. And chanting Om helps us to relax our mind and calm down. Thank you.
Thank you, Somika. The girls have done a small buku. Buku is nothing but Rangoli. And I will just show you the buku. And as a symbolism, we will start the program. After the prayer, we will light a small lamp and start the program. Okay? Come. Yes. This is a small rangoli that the girls have done, and we have placed lamps in the middle, and now Savitri and Pavani will arrange the lamps. Yeah. Thank you, Pamani, and thank you, Savitri. This is actually Diwali season in India. I request now Pamani to say a few sentences about Diwali, not more than two, Pamani.
Hello. Hello. I would like to tell about Diwali. Diwali is a festival of Indian. We will decorate with flowers. We will put lot of lamps.
Thank you, Pamani. Yes, we have been running this leadership training for the past 2.5 months, and the girls have been learning a lot of things. And now we request some of the girls to come and share what they have done. Okay? Yeah. Thank you. I request Somika to start, please.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome you all. I'm very happy to see Zoe after a long time. I am Soumika. I completed my graduation. I have been in this course, WEP and Acti course, leadership community course for a long time. I would like to share what I have learned, which makes me to improve and to be happy in my life. We have mindfulness class. In this class, I learned mindful breathing. It helps me to improve my focus on the present moment, and accepting it without judgment. And it helps me to aware of my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, my attitude, my behavior. It changes me. It gives me an interesting perspective. I'm very happy, and by doing this beautiful mindful exercises, there are a lot of good feelings which has come into me. I felt very joy, very happy, very relaxed, and I'm happy to share that we have also started a small yoga club with rest of the children. We are all practicing mindfulness. Thank you. And from learning skills, we have learned how to manage our day-to-day updates by ourselves, and we learned how to deal with the banking system, and how to create a budget for a small family, budget planning for a small family, and how to gather funds for our business. And we also know a little bit of our functioning of government. And now we are very confident, and I can say that we have learned how to deal with banking operations and without getting cheated. Thank you.
Thank you, Somika. And now I request Sidhu to say a few about what they learned in English and IT speech and other things. Take over, Sidhu.
Namaste everyone. This is Sindhu. In English class, we learn how to read, write, and speak in English. And also we learn every day we recite a poem in Telugu and try to translate English. Translate in English. From IT skills, we learn what is computer and components of computer, and learn preparation of documents by using MS Word, and prepare presentation slides by using MS PowerPoint, and also we learn basics of MS Excel. Then we learn how to Google, and also how to make and rules of make. Next, from photography, We learn definition of photography and types of cameras, then and importance of light and colors. We find out the colors, what is saturation and desaturation, and also we learn Photoshop to edit the image very beautifully. This photography is used for the creation of products, to selling the products, good photographs of the photography. Then soft skills. In soft skills, we learn team building, commitment, adaptability, and helping, communication, politeness. Through these all things, we learn soft skills, and we learn also hard skills also. Through these soft skills, we change our behavior and become a good human being in society. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will request Devi to recite a poem in Telugu and say its meaning in English. Come, Devi.
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Sridevi. I would like to tell a poem and then translate it in English. This poem was written by Badena. He is from 13th century. He was also called as Kamalasanudu. శుభములు నందరి చదువులు అభినయముల రాగసములందరి పాటలు గుబగుబలు లేని గుండవి సుఖమెచ్చని మాటలన్నా ఎప్పన సుమతి. This means Sumati says that education without good results, songs without a tune, a meeting without people, and work without appreciation are tasteless. Tasteless. Thank you.
Okay, the girls have been learning tailoring skills and skills in terracotta. I request some of them to say what they have learned. Terracotta and tailoring. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vika. I completed my 10th grade. Now I am telling about terracotta. I am adapted to terracotta. In terracotta, I know the importance of clay. Before using the clay, we fetch the clay, which is used for remove the dust particles and remove air bubbles, getting smoothing the clay. In terracotta, we learn different sizes and shapes, beads. Now we are learning malas from the beads. We learn how to do design on the bead in a creative way. I am very happy from this occasional course training. Thank you.
They will tell about the tailoring.
Sorry, could we have does anybody have any questions? I think we have time for one question for some of the students from. Does anybody have a question for a student? If you could write it in the chat, we could. Thank you. So I think we're going to get to the next part of our presentation. Was there the finish part from RT Home students? Did you want to, Sunil?
Yeah, there's a question from Ruth Hamilton asking ages of these girls. The youngest one is 15 and the oldest one is 20. Yeah, Sridevi is the oldest one, is 20. And they all range between 15 and 20.
And Vandana Goyal asks, what does success mean to you?
What does success mean to you?
Okay, it is good to hear directly from them then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Soumika.
Yeah, come on. Devi wants to answer that. Yeah.
Okay, come on.
Success means?
Success means purposeful life.
Purpose in life?
Purposeful life.
Purposeful life.
Oh, purposeful life. Very nice.
Any other answer?
Yeah, said, wonderfully said.
1 minute, Soumika wants to say something.
For me, success is being being a successful woman and lead a better life with all skills and sharing skills, generating other income with our skills, so we can change our community. So for me, that is the success.
Did you get it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you got some thumbs up from that. Thank you very much. It was so wonderful to see all of you. It really is so good to see you. For everyone, you do get a glimpse into a WEP Academy for a little bit, which is a wonderful opportunity. Without COVID, they would be sitting so close, they would be singing songs together, they would be really, it would be a very different scene, but it is so nice to see everybody and being safe as well. At this point, I would like to get to the next point of the question, part of the program, unless anybody else has a question. You're just getting lots of compliments from people in the chat bar that it is so wonderful to see you, and they thanked you for your wonderful.
Could we hear something about their aspirations? What's the hook song?
There was
very much.
Somebody was asking a question I did not hear well.
If one student could mention her aspirations.
Aspirations, okay. Aspirations గురించి ఎవరన్నా మాట్లాడితే బాగుంటుందన్న ఒక్క మాట చెప్పండి. ఏం సాధించాలనుకుంటున్నారు?
What is your goal in life? What you want to become in life? That sort of answer. Anybody? Yes. An answer from here. Hope you will be able to listen.
ముందరికి రమ్మనండి అన్న. ఇక్కడ కెమెరా దగ్గరికి వచ్చి మాట్లాడితే బాగుంటది.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chaitanya. My aspiration is to become an agriculturist because in India there are so many farmers, but there is no development. Farmers are feeling very difficult, and there is no profit for the farmers. So I want to become an agriculturist. And my secondary goal is to get employment from Pedagoda. Thank you.
Yeah, she wants to become an agriculturist in future. Yeah, one more. Yeah.
My aspiration after this course, I want to start a tailoring unit in my community and teach them what I learned, and we all team together achieve success and be a good human being and successful women in life. Thank you.
And can somebody tell us who your role models are?
You listen, they will say one word. Who is your role model?
My Sanyama is a role model. Sanyama and Shalo is a role model.
Sandhya and Shalu.
Sandhya. So they answer Sandhya Amma, and Shalu, her daughter Sandhya, is the founder of RT Home, who is a role model for all. and her daughter, Shalu, who is on the WEP India board. Wonderful, thank you so much. And other people are saying on the chat that Sandhya is a role model for us as well. This is wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. Please do stay on if you would like to stay on and to view the rest of this presentation. But we miss you all, and we're glad that you are safe in India, and we will be in touch soon as well.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Anna?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I believe I just muted him.
Anna, you have to unmute, Anna.
Okay, I was just asking whether we can ask the girls to leave because it's their dinner time.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that okay, Zoe?
Yes.
We can ask them to go ahead for dinner.
Yes, of course. Nala Tinandi. Bagatinandi. Bagatinandi.
Bagatinandi.
Thanks.
Wonderful. So I would like the next part of this forum is to share with you where we are as an organization with WEP. And I will be sharing my screen.
Yeah.
If everyone can see this. So again, welcome to Women's Education Project's 6th Annual Forum, and a thank you to Ed Web for their corporate support. I started women's education in 2002. As I mentioned earlier, in 1996 and 1997, I lived in Hyderabad and met Esther Subhashini, the woman on the right, in the white salwar kameez. And she was running an organization for girl child laborers. And I turned to her at the end of the year and said, this is what I want to do. I want to run an organization for girls in India. And that started I guess a dedication to India for the next 20 years. With these 3 women. This is Sandhya on the left and Vijaya Lakshmi in the middle. And together we formed a women's education project. So in 2002, my university hired me to run their study abroad program, and I opened while I was working for the university, I found a real need to support young women who are coming from very poor backgrounds but want to enter careers. And so we opened the first academy in Madurai, and we had 25 young women attending. And it was in a small house with a little garden on the outside that we grew ourselves. And it was a very cozy, really nice little home for these young women. We really listened to their needs and started developing a program based on what these young women wanted. It started off as an academic support program. So I was teaching English, and we offered scholarships to the students. And as we developed the program, we formed the library, and we formed the computer lab and different aspects of the program. And it wasn't until we hired Vijaya Lakshmi, who is in the center in the red sari, that it really took shape in terms of the sisterhood, that we found that, one, it has to be locally run, and that because VG has such a wonderful rapport with the students and she really inspires them and supports them, that we found that the sisterhood was extremely important to Women's Education Project and to our model as a program. In 2007, I went back to Esther Subhashini and invited her to open up an academy in Hyderabad. And she agreed And so we developed our partnership strategy of partnering with NGOs and offering them our academy. For those who haven't heard that word in the last year, we have changed our name of this center to the Leadership Academy. So we're providing NGOs a leadership academy. In 2012, under the Flatiron Building in New York, I met Sandhya, and she was interested in learning about WEP, and after a cup of tea in New York City, we decided to open up our third academy at the RT home, and those are the girls that you met. And at that point, we had about 320 young women enrolled in the program. So with these women and with our students, we really established the model of the program, of the Academy, of the Leadership Academy. In 2019, we looked back at our 18 years of history it was about October, and started to standardize our academy, that we were offering really wonderful programs throughout these many, many years. And then we took all of the 18 years of history and put it into a system, which Ankita is going to present to you shortly. In really exciting news, in 2020, which is now, we met, introduced by Caroline, who you will also be hearing from shortly. We met an organization led by Naoma Sandler of Women Serve, and we are discussing partnership with Women Serve to open a fourth academy in Rajasthan, BOP Rajasthan, which is really exciting news for us as we grow out our model throughout a very different and very new part of India. And not to get ahead of myself or ahead of the presentation, as Ankita will be presenting this, but our 2020 has been a very quiet year of just really focusing on this Leadership Academy and really revising it so that when we do partner with Women Serve and turn back to our first three partners, that we are providing them an academy, which unfortunately does have to be, and fortunately is now online. So it's a revised Leadership Academy, which is online as well as in-person program. So as all of us developed this program, we found that it naturally fell into the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, that we were developing a program because we were really listening to these students, really addressing their needs and organically developing this holistic program, that our primary mission addresses quality education, that we help our students to enter area colleges and training programs and vocational programs. And of course, we believe in gender equality. The activities of the academy itself, they address poverty, that all of our students are coming from, for the most part, from poor backgrounds, that there is zero hunger, that we have a nutrition program, and that they really learn about health and nutrition and good well-being. And that our focus is for these young women to enter livelihoods of their own interest. As COVID hit, we also realized that these young women need to be able to adapt, and that their career path might not work out. And so within that, we developed a new part of our academy offering called the 21st Century Certificate, to really look at their skills, so that within the 21st century, with global warming and so many other problems, that they are able to cope and adapt and survive. What sets us apart as Women's Education Project is that we focus on the economic independence of these young women. And for them to be economically independent, they must have the sisterhood. They cannot, we don't believe that to support these young women just in training and helping them find careers, we don't think that it's enough, that they need that foundation of sisterhood, which is a really spirited community of young women, which follows through to an alumni association. That for these young women, when they do enter a career, we're always in touch with them as much as we can be to support them further, because they often need more support, but they also can always come back to inspire other students at our program. Leadership is, we have a full leadership program, which we will see shortly. That for us, because we're providing a very a highly adaptable, flexible curriculum that meets the local conditions and local realities of these young women, that they can truly become a leader of their own lives. I'd like to introduce Ankita, Ankita Joshi, who is a new council member of WEP, who came on board in, I believe it's this summer, and has since really helped us quite a bit in this revision of the academy and placing it online.
Thanks, Zoe. Thanks for the introduction, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, based on where you are. I'm happy to be speaking to you today. I'm personally in California. This is early morning, and I can say that this has just been a great start to my day already. In this slide, I will be talking more about the Leadership Academy, and as a heads up, I will be going into some detail and covering a lot of information here, but don't worry, because in the upcoming slides, Zoe will repeat some of that information. So even though it's a lot, you'll be hearing it several times. So I want to talk about the structure and components of our very holistic and personalized Leadership Academy, which ultimately builds up to a girl's economic independence. Before I kind of walk through the structure, I do want to stress what Zoe already did, which is this academy is revised from the in-person version, and it is offered in person and online now. The benefit of us being able to offer it online is that girls have access to this during COVID. And the other aspect also is that with the online curriculum, we are also building a resource bank, which will be a bunch of different resources about online learning, different kinds of curriculum, so that academy leaders can leverage that content to support their teaching, not only during the online learning time, but also afterwards. So we're really trying to focus on personalizing this academy, not only to each academy, but also to every individual, every girl who joins WEP. It starts with sisterhood. Like Zoe just mentioned, sisterhood is really the heart and soul of WEP. It's a community that builds a safe space for girls to ultimately be themselves. They find a support system of friends and mentors, and also find avenues to figure out what their interests are. So the sisterhood is a community that they join from the very beginning, and it's there throughout the academy and even after, when they graduate and become alumni. After they're introduced into the sisterhood, we have a series of 4 certificates. On the screen here, you'll see the first certificate as step 2, which is My Foundation. So My Foundation is focused on building leadership. We look at leadership both at a personal and a community level. At a personal level, girls think about leadership in the form of understanding self-awareness, topics of self-esteem, how to take care of their own health and well-being, and then also learning about personal finance and building their own budget. Then as I said, we also think about leadership at a community level, where girls think about or learn about, in a more deeper sense, their local culture and also gender and equity issues. And from there, they also learn about what their rights are and have some discussions about that, and ultimately think about meaningful ways in which they can advocate for change. And that's what we refer to as our ripple effect, the ripple effect of WEP. After My Foundation, we have the My Skills certificate, which starts introducing girls to some hard skills. For example, how to study or how to take tests, which is critical no matter what discipline the girl decides to go into. We also practice basic communication in both English and their local languages, and also introduce them to basic technology like Microsoft 360, set up their emails, and also introduce them to online etiquettes and privacy, because everything is now becoming more digital, especially in the time of COVID. With both soft and hard skills under their belt, we have our third certificate, which is My Exploration. In this certificate, girls typically would go on field trips to shadow women leaders in different career disciplines, but in COVID, we are trying to replicate that in the form of online conferences or online webinars. The idea here is that they hear from local women about careers that they might be interested in, just to kind of open up their career options and show them what is possible in their areas. The next step from there is the 21st Century Certificate. Zoe mentioned that. This is a new edition really inspired by 2020 and what we're all going through during COVID. During this certificate, we will be talking about each and every United Nations development goal. The idea here is that by talking about or discussing about global issues, we are building awareness, and that awareness prepares girls to deal with any unprecedented times like COVID, and to make these goals very actionable, because they are pretty generic and abstract. To make them more actionable, we will be linking them to specific skills and career options so that girls can think about any next steps that they might want to take. That leads me seamlessly into the final step of the academy, which is My Next Steps. This is when girls sit down with mentors to figure out what is it that they want to do in the future. I do want to stress that we don't tell girls what they should be doing. It's very much about helping them figure out what are their interests, what is it that they want to do, and what is the best way to meet their goals and aspirations. So it could be anything from them wanting to continue education or find a new job, and it's all centered around what is it that these girls want to work on. As you can see, the step 7 here is again being a part of the sisterhood. The sisterhood is always there. At WEP, we have a doors always open kind of a policy. Once you're a part of the family, you're always a part of the family. And we believe that all the self-confidence, the skills, and the support system that the girls build as a part of this academy ultimately leads them to economic independence. So how do we know that this format actually works? So this year, or this and last year, we conducted a survey, a pretty extensive survey, to test the effectiveness of our program. So we conducted surveys with 200 current students, new students, and alumni, and overall, they all said that the WEP program was really effective. 65.8% of the current students and alumni ranked WEP 10 out of 10 regarding their likelihood to recommend the program to someone else. 30% of them gave it 7 or an 8 out of 10. So overall, they've been ranking the program pretty well. So now I will hand it over back to Zoe in order to go into more depths about the survey and what we learned.
Thank you so much, Ankita, and it's nice to see you this morning. Before I go to the next slide, I just want to read the quote from, as part of that 200 student survey, we just had wonderful quotes from these students who are participating in our program. And the WEP has opened a new world to me. I have become self-confident, which I think every girl needs in this unequal world, said Mallory, a student of a WEP academy. So as the results of the program, we focused it on the sisterhood leadership, the effectiveness of our sisterhood, the effectiveness of leadership and economic independence. That in the space itself is so important to these students. And we found that the girls were attending our academy for 2.5 years, that they would actually stay with us for that long. Which does not include the Alumni Association, it just means attending the actual program. That friendships are extremely important to them, that before attending WEP, that they ranked friendships that they had as about a 5 out of 10, that they didn't have space to hang out with friends. And after attending WEP, they said it's extremely important to be with my friends, and they said it was a 9 out of 10. So we know that these friendships are just extremely important to them. As Lakshmi said, now the girls at the center have become like my sisters, and I share everything with them. All the activities that we do in the evening at WEP, I've never done them in a group before. A lot of our program is about different interests and experiences for these young women to develop this spark in them. Environmental awareness, we have a lot of environmental awareness programs, we have book club, important discussions, we've had karate classes, kitchen gardening, craft, dance. They really are, to quote the students, jolly places to be for them, which is just very important for these young women who often have always have very challenging lives at home. And Renuka said, after joining WEP, I had the financial and mental support to move forward. I started believing in myself. I now know what to do. I am independent, self-reliant, wise, and confident woman. In leadership, before they came to our program, what we define as leadership for a young woman is that she must know, for a young woman to be the leader, she must know about health and hygiene. She must, as Ankita showed you the different certificates, that she must know about, be financially literate, be skilled and confident. And a huge part is the ripple effect in how to give it on, how to spread awareness and to support others. That's a large part of our program. Health and hygiene, that they knew, 76% of our students said they had little to no knowledge about health or hygiene before attending WEP. 8 in 10 students said afterwards that they ranked it 8 or above in terms of being aware of health and hygiene. Computer efficacy, that they knew, had about a 4, and after leaving WEP or attending WEP, 8.5. We are aware that computer labs are something we really need to develop for our students further, that we need more computers and tech support for these young women. That was something that did stand out in the survey. Financial literacy, that they knew 5 and they left our program with 7.5. Which again, I mean, it's obviously an improvement, but we do think that that is something that we want to really emphasize further, is the financial literacy of these young women. Confidence, we are determining, confidence is a very hard thing to determine. What we are saying is, as part of our program, is meeting other women in professions, as well as we have a lot of field trips. For them to walk comfortably into a police station, into a hospital, or into a job opportunity, a place where they could get a job. Before attending WEP, they had 0 confidence in being able to confidently walk into a police station, for example. And after WEP program, they said an 8 out of 10, that they felt comfortable and knowledgeable in entering those facilities, which in terms of a hospital is just extremely important, or a police station is extremely important for these young women. 2, we have many instances of these young women making change in their neighborhoods, that they have stopped child marriages, they have built kitchen gardens with their neighbors, but 2.5, they said that they gave it a 2.5 out of 10 before attending WEP, and 80% of alumni and current students said that they felt very confident to make change. This report is going to be made available to you as well soon. economic independence before they came to WEP, awareness of career opportunities. We are a program in which we're trying to develop the young women's own interests, that they had awareness of about a 5 out of 10, and 75% of alumni asserted that WEP was crucial to helping them secure their current employment, and also to attain a higher income. 96 of current students rank their confidence in attaining their income goals at about a 7, which that was a number that was a lot, because we did the survey during COVID. We were not able to obtain a really clear number of about employment of our students. But the fact that they are confident in after COVID in being able to obtain income, that is, we are going to go back to them within a year to really focus on the career side of the program. And Renuka said, I'm the sole earner in my family, and I started family budgeting. In every financial decision, we have a discussion in my family before deciding. I was very unsure of my future, but after joining WEP, I started getting hope for my future. So again, it really is like just to prove this model of these young women need that sisterhood. They need to understand their own leadership in order to become economically independent. These young women in the top are, last year, 20 students achieved or completed a hospitality training, and were all employed at 5-star hotels as of very early January of this year. Moving forward for 2020-2021, we have completed this survey. We're really looking at the metrics of our organization. What do we define as success? We're testing our standardized academy at our 3 current partners. We have a wonderful team at Women's Education Project, and we are launching our marketing strategy so that more and more people know about our work. And thanks to our program committee, we have an online program. Our academy is now online. Moving forward, we are going to be launching a campaign next year to fund the growth of our organization. We have Malini Eden is on our call right now, who is our new administrative and program director in Bangalore. We're really setting the foundation for WEP India as an office so that we have local oversight and local leadership in India. And we'll be securing a country director for that office. We are identifying new NGO partners, which we, as I mentioned, women serve, and we're looking for networked partners so that we can expand within their network to provide our academies throughout those networks. That is our presentation, and then at the end of this forum, I would love to take any questions that you might have about our work.
Zoe, do we have time for a quick question?
I was going to move on to the next part. Could we save it to the very end?
Absolutely.
Okay. I would like to introduce Anjali Prakash, who is the 2019 recipient of Women's Education Project's Red Bangle Award. She founded Learning Links Foundation in 2002 and has been a wonderful advisor since meeting Anjali last year, has just been a wonderful advisor to me personally, as well as to Women's Education Project, and has joined WEP India as a advisor. I am rushing to find a presentation to share with you. Hold on one second.